again. Oh, that was making a bit of a racket, wasn't it? Bless it. This is the N47 engine, 2 litre, 118 diesel. Water pump is making a right old racket and it's leaking, so we've got some fluid coming out of it. It's been getting worse and worse and worse over time. I'd say, I don't know, probably every 3 months it's been starting to make a noise. Wasn't dead obvious at first which pulley was making the noise, but yeah, we know now because it's leaking and it's got really bad. It all of a sudden the last couple of days, yeah, the bearings have gone now and it's rattling and chattering and making a right old noise. So let's get it changed over. Shouldn't be too big a job. A couple of hours possibly to get this sorted out. Got to remove the engine cover, remove the front scuttle here to gain a bit of access. On this one, we have got to take the EGR valve off. Yeah, and a few other bits and pieces. Let's get stuck in and get the job done. As always, I'll pop links in the description for all the parts and tools that I'm going to use on the job. First thing, let's get some light on the job. I've got this beautiful Milwaukee underbonnet light with the holder on it, so we can clamp that to the top of the bonnet. It'll sit there, we can alter the angle on it and it'll give us a really good work light to perfect. We'll start by taking the oil filler cap off and getting this engine cover out of the way. Give it a good tug. Pull it forward like that out of the way. Little Milwaukee bit box, ratchet screwdriver will come in really handy on this one. Getting all these undone. TX20. That's that out of the way. What that does, it just dampens the induction noise. It's just like an air damper. Now we can really see what's going on. Come and have a look. Now you can see where it's been spraying coolant all around here. Down the bottom here there's loads of coolant. It's been getting onto the belt, which is making it squeal. Belt doesn't look too bad though, but I can't really do it. Once I get the belt off, we shall see how much play is in there. So I've got the e-manual online, full BMW workshop. I'll pop the link in the description below. If you use the code ANT22, you'll get 22% off. This manual is comprehensive. It's got everything in it. It's the full BMW factory workshop manual. It is brilliant. So yeah, I've got torque settings and everything. This pit on the top, this is the EGR valve. So we've got to disconnect that from its mountings. Got to take the hoses off. So we're going to have to take the drop some coolant out as well. Got to make sure we catch that though, because if the dogs drink it, it'll do them in. So we need to make sure we capture all the coolant and dispose of it properly. I'm going to take this air pipe off the front there as well, I think, to get at the other side of the EGR valve. So this has got to come off. We'll get the airbox out of the way as well. So the other one we've got to be noticeable or mindful of is the belt routing, because these you could get these muddled up, and if you're not sure which way they go. So off the bottom pulley, it comes up, goes round the air conditioning compressor, goes round the top tensioner, then it goes round the alternator, comes round the water pump, goes back on itself, around the actual tensioner, and then back to the crank at the bottom. So as long as we can remember that, I've got it on film, so we're all right. We can get this back together nice and easy. Let's get a big socket on the tensioner and whip the belt off. So it's a 16mm socket onto the tensioner there, and we can pull that, take the tension off it, and then release it. Just slip it off. Pull it off the pulley, off the bottom pulley, get it off that tensioner there. It's got a little lip on it there, it's a bit close. There we go. Then we'll have it from around the water pump. And then we can drop that back out there. Oh, it can't go all the way, otherwise it won't come off that one. Actually, I don't need to take it all the way off, I can leave it around those ones. Get that over there out of the way though. There is a little locking pin on the tensioner, if you can find a drill bit or something big enough just to slip in there. Yeah, there we go, that's that out of the way. And now, it's got loads of play in it. That one's alright. That one's alright. Alternator's good. Crank pulley's good. The rubbers can go on the crank pulleys as well, and they can separate. But this one is all intact, and that's okay as well. We chuck a drain tray underneath the car just to catch any antifreeze that we're going to drop, and we're going to take this breather pipe off. Now these are brittle, and I know this one's going to break. There it goes, look. But you can get one of these off eBay, cheap as chips, £8. We'll get the rest of it off. There we go. The oil just degrades the plastic over time. Well, then we'll whip the airbox out, undo the Jubilee clip, just pop the pipe off, get that out of the way, 10mm bolt, and the whole thing will come out. Happy days. And you can see down there, there's a clip and a bolt.
E10.
The E10 bolt there, just holding that in place. We'll just whip that out. Crack the clip off the bottom, it's just a screwdriver in the back of it. Get the little hoses off and then pop it off the turbo. You can see the clip there. So I've got a couple of old milk bottles with the bottoms chopped out of them. And we can try them. These are going to be really good just for going in and trying to capture some of the coolant before it hits the floor. Hoses have got like the spring clip on them again, so we just need to lift the spring clip up and then we can get at the well, the whole thing will come off. So if we just get at that from behind, we've got a little hook. These little hook tools are fantastic for getting in at these clips that are hard to reach. Just pull that up a tad, and then this is, it should come off, but it's going to be a bit tight. It's on an O-ring and it ain't been off for over 10 years, so well, it's 13 years it's been on there for. There it comes. There we go. The beauty of these O-rings, you can just slip them on and off. We'll just drain that down, fill each bottle up. I'll transfer that over, store all this antifreeze. We can use that again, or dispose of what we don't need. And we'll just keep draining it down until there's no more left. Got some blue roll just to do a bit of mopping up. Great stuff. Rust off on these EGR bolts. Just at the back there, they go rusty, they're through the housing. They get really, really hot. It's on the manifold. And this one is tight. Oh, go on. Struggling with that extension. I'm going to make it a bit shorter and just give myself a bit more leverage. We'll go short, and hopefully I won't get as much flex now. Here it goes. Come on. Oh, it was tight. Oh, she's tight, that is. But it's there. We can now loosen those off. The top one is tight on the threads, as you can see, but it does come out. I'll make sure I give that a really good clean before I put it back in. Bottom one came out of the ring. 2 bolts off the top end of the EGR. They don't come all the way out, they only come out a bit. Then we've got a couple of mounting bolts. Well, 3 in fact. One at the top, one at the bottom.
Short one.
And one at the other end.
One more bolt right through the gap there.
It's a tricky one to see, that one is. We'll get on it, flip it out. And this is all loosey-goosey now. Yeah. Just feed it back a bit. Might have to drop a pipe off, on the vacuum pipe on the top. Yeah, it's a bit tight.
Have to relieve it of that vacuum pipe there, that one's really tight.
Just pop a screwdriver and leave that off. And then we can fold that over the top. We're not taking it all the way off the car, we can just rest it on the top of the engine. There's enough slack in those pipes just to rest it up there, look. It's away.
These are quite interesting, like the rubber pipes are just under a bit of pressure. So you can see where the EGRs come off of there. It's just a little ring gasket there, so there's no new gasket needed on that one. It is just the pipes pressured in. It's got these rubber hoses with little seals on them. They're just pressed into the orifices either end, look, that one there and one the other side. So they should be okay. You see inside the turbo there. That's all nice and dry and clean, that looks good. Okay, let's put this water pump out. See the EGR, it doesn't look too dirty either, that looks nice and clean as well. It's quite surprising. 10 mil.
Let's whip this water pump off, so we'll relieve it of its bolts that are holding it on. It is also on a little dowel as well, so once we've got the bolts out, it's going to be a little bit tight to get off. There is one bolt right in the middle, which is a little bit hard to see. I was looking all around the outside for it, and I couldn't find the one in the middle.
Right in the middle.
Yeah, dead obvious, right in front of your eyes. Luckily we got the manual, we could see that.
Oh, I didn't see him. Didn't see that fella.
And we'll give it a tap and a wiggle.
Yeah.
It's really tight. You don't want to give putting up a bit of a battle.
Another one. Is there another one?
Nah, there's no more bolts in it. You see, because it's so tight on that dowel, I'm thinking there's another bolt holding it on. Nothing that a big hammer don't sort out though. Don't hit it too hard though. Is it coming? Yeah, you can just see it start to move now. It's just starting to move. Here it comes. Gentle wiggles, gentle wiggles. Here it comes. You can see how tight it is on that dowel at the bottom there. Keep wiggling it, it'll come. Come on. Come on, baby Lou, off you come. Yeah, there it is.
Oh, hallelujah.
You can see there the impeller on the back. It all looks clean, there's no corrosion in there. But the playing that, bearing its shot, that is. Absolutely. To the bench, we'll take the water pump housing off. 3 bolts, into the plastic casing. That'll pop up. Spring-loaded thermostat in there. That opens and closes due to engine temperature to circulate the water around the engine. Helps the engine warm up quicker. Put that to one side, we'll need that again. We can pull these little hoses out. Give them a quick clean down. That can go back in again as well. Oh, so here we go, we've got a new one. Feels much nicer than the old one, I have to say. And it looks pretty spot on. Now there are 2 of these, make sure you get the right one. There's one that's got a cutout here and doesn't have the pipe that comes out for the EGR valve. So make sure you get the right one, and also there's one with 4 bolts to the thermostat housing. This one's only got 3. So yeah, make sure you check your specifics before you buy. And obviously the gasket then is going to sit in there. Okay, the gasket's in nicely. And the other thing we've got to do is put the thermostat housing in. We've got this gasket there, which is okay. We just seat that back into the new water pump, and then we can push that down onto it. Now this, obviously going back in again, it's got a bit of spring pressure on it because the thermostat's fully extracted. So we're just going to put these bolts in a little bit each at a time. We'll slowly work it down until they're all up tight. Again, we're only talking 10 Newton meters on these. It's not a lot. It's only plastic. That all looks nice. And then there's a little plastic tube. We'll give that a quick wipe round. And that can go in as well. Nice. Get it on the car. Right, so I've got a really fine bit of wet and dry there. Just give this a little rub down. Just make sure we've got a nice clean surface. So a couple of little bits where it's got some old gasket there for the dirt. It's imperative this is a really fine wet and dry. Nothing too coarse, otherwise you have leaks. Quick wipe down again with blue roll. Pump that. Drop the dowel in at the bottom. It's got to locate into the hole there. There's also one at the top on the top left hand corner. We can get some bolts in now. Peg this all back up again. All the bolts are the same length, so we haven't got to worry about that. And we know from the E-manual that the torque settings again is 10 Newton meters on these. I just whiz them all in finger tight to start with. Just nip round them all, just nice and equal, and then we can just nip them all up to 10 Newton meters. Click, click. Click, click. Once you've done a few, you know what 10 Newton meters feels like. Perfect. The dinging is the end of my socket just hitting the bell, the actual pulley on the water pump. That's why it keeps making that dinging sound. It's like a little chime. One more down the bottom. All done. Right, now we'll look tight. Beautiful, lovely, lovely. And it's just a case of reassembling, putting everything back the opposite way to we took it off. We'll get the smaller one on there first. Put the clip down, that's not going anywhere. Then we've got the bigger one. We'll pull that round. Just drop the safety or the clip back on it. Stop it coming off the retaining clip. And then we can pop that one back in as well. Make sure they go all the way on and clip in. We don't want them coming off. There we go, that's that one done as well. We can drop the EGR valve back in again now. We'll just bring that down, line it up. Make sure we've got the rubber hoses in the little slots at the back there. Don't let them fall out, which they can do. And then we can pop these bolts back in again. We'll just do these up loosely for now. The two on the plastic inlet manifold and the two into the exhaust side. Just make sure it's all lined up. We can pop the bolts back through and whiz those up. Just keep them loose at the minute until we've got these tightened up on the ends. I'm going to pop a bit of copper slip or alu slip onto these two into the manifold on the EGR valve hot side. We can then nip up the other side and then do the mounting bolts up nice and tight. Pop the turbo pipe back on again. Make sure the clip's in the bottom. We've got that little E8 bolt in the side and then the air filter to go back in, two 10mm bolts. Clip that back down again. Pop the Jubilee clip back up on the intake pipe. Pop the belt back on. You've got there the routing off the E-manual workshop manual there. Pull the tensioner up. And just get that back on again. There we go. Perfect. Now I've got to do a repair on my little pipe, haven't I, until my new one comes. So I just use a bit of 15mm pipe in the middle with a bit of tape around it. A couple of Jubilee clips. Bob's your uncle. Perfect. Just about. Right, so we're all looking pretty cool there. That looks good. This stuff is amazing. Now, I always like to stick a can of this in the car. If ever I've done coolant replacement or anything, I always run a bottle of this in the system. If ever you get a stone chip on your radiator, it puts a little hole in it, this will seal it up. When you're just driving around normally, it just flushes itself around in the system. It won't block it up. I've never had any issues. I've put this in cars for years. It is brilliant. Could save you a head gasket, overheating engine, or just breaking down in general. So yeah, let's whack this in. Now I've got the little breather screw undone on the coolant expansion tank, just by the side of the filler cap there. And we've got the long life antifreeze, which is going in as well. I just top it up with the what I've got left over. Yeah, the air coming up through the breather there. I think my little dipstick's got stuck there. I'll just give it a little. There it is. Look. So we're up to level. And we'll fire it up and check for leaks. As it starts to run, the fluid will come out the breather. And that knows, you know you've got the air out of the system then. So we'll screw that back down. Don't go too mad though, because they can snap off. So do it till it stops leaking. We've got all the air out. The expansion tank is in two sections, that's why it's got a breather on the side. You think it's one tank, but it's actually split into two. So it's important that you do use that breather. A quick wipe round, and then we'll have the lid back on and get it up to temperature. Check the heaters and stuff. make sure there's no leaks. Now if your engine cover's getting a bit worn in the mountains, the rubbers have gone a bit saggy, it vibrates, you can just put a bit of tape around the two pins on the top of the engine there where it locates to, and then when you push it on it's a bit tighter and it stops it rattling and making horrible noise. We'll get this front air buffer back on again, calm down the intake noise. Good. And there we go. We'll make sure that the heaters are blowing hot air out, let the car go cold once it's got up to temperature, and then we'll just check that level again and make sure that it's all up to speed, and then top it up if necessary. But that is it, we're all done with the job. So if you've enjoyed that one, drop me a little thumbs up. Always leave some comments, lovely comments, like, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video. Thanks for watching.
Wake up, today's gonna be a good day. 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 Wake up, today's gonna be a good day.